Okay. Okay, so let me launch the Eclipse. Okay, so I am going to our package and okay, so like in the last class, like we saw like how we can create the like RC code in the Selenium. Okay, like how we can create a code like without even recording with the help of the IDE. We were able to write the code and like we were able to execute that code with the help of the Selenium RC server. Okay, so today in like what we'll do is like we'll try to learn some of the concepts of the Java, because like even in Selenium RC or like WebDriver, like everywhere, like what we need to do is like we will be using the Java code itself. Okay, so before even like getting into the like RC code or the Selenium WebDriver, like it's better for us to understand the Java code first, because like this is only the basic things that we did. Okay, but we don't know what exactly a class is, what exactly this setup is, what is this public, this is void. Like we don't know all these things because these are all the part of the Java language. Okay, so we need to learn that Java before even continuing the Selenium RC or going into the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so even if there are like loops and like there are conditional statement that we might need to use in our code and which is part of Java. Okay, so let's first learn the Java and then come back into the Selenium RC or into the Selenium WebDriver, which we'll see. Okay, so first of all, let's try to learn some of the basic concepts of Java, which will help us to write the code in Selenium. Okay, so first thing that we need to know is like first of all Java, like what Java is, or like some concepts of basic core Java. See, let me do this. Okay, so to do an introduction, so basically what this Java is, it's a programming language which we can use to develop the applications in the sense, see, like walmart.com, amazon.com, or like Capital One Bank website, or whatever it is, like Bank of America website. See, these are all the applications, and to build those applications we can use like programming language called Java. Okay, so we already know like to develop something we need to write the code in Java. Okay, so that is what is a programming language which will help us to develop the applications. And there are many languages like this, like how we have Java, there is .NET, there is Oracle, there are many languages like SAP using which you can develop the applications. And one of the like main language is the Java, which is used by many companies. Like many applications are all built with the help of this Java itself. Okay, and it's a programming language which we can develop the applications. And with the help of Java, we can develop both Windows-based applications as well as the web-based applications also. Okay, we know the difference, like there are two different applications that we have, web-based and Windows. So with the help of Java, we can develop both Windows and web-based applications. Okay, and basically the difference is web-based means like you need to use a browser to launch that application, and whereas Windows-based, like you can directly open that without the help of a web browser. So Excel, Notepad, like these are all Windows-based applications, whereas Amazon.com, like Google.com, Gmail.com, so anything that you are using a browser to launch it, those are web-based applications. So with the help of Java, we can develop both web-based and Windows-based applications also. Okay, and there are some characteristics of Java in the sense like the features of Java. See, it's very secure in the sense like with the help of Java, you can build applications which are very secured. Okay, and it's very high performance in the sense like whatever the applications that you built on Java, they are very fast. Like you can create those applications the applications are very fast. Let's say if you take the google.com, okay, so when you open the Google, like when you try to send an email in the Gmail, so those are very like fast applications. So like those applications we can build with the help of this Java. And also it's a multi-threaded application in the sense like whatever the application that you create, like it can have multi-thread in the sense at a time like multiple persons can do something or multiple transactions can be done in the application. Okay, so each transaction it's kind of one thread. Okay, so like that, like you can create like multiple threads in the Java. Okay, and it's a multi-threaded language, and also it's a strongly typed language in the sense like when we write the code, like in case if you write, let's say if the code needs to start with the uppercase, and if you write a lowercase letter, then it will throw an error. Okay, let's say for example string, there is something called a string, like it's one of the type of the variable, and if you type the string uppercase, like let's say in case if it needs to be only lowercase, and if you type it as an uppercase value, then it will throw an error. Okay, and also when you create a variables, let's say if you are creating a variable of integer, like I'll explain you what those variables are. So in case if you are creating a type of integer variable, and if you store some other value into it, okay, if you store some other value into it, like you can it throws an error. Okay, so like multi-threaded means basically when you log into Gmail, okay, so let's say if you are logging, there are three people who are trying to use the Gmail. Okay, first person has logged into the Gmail, so you will be assigned one thread. Okay, the second person is doing again, like he is trying to log in into the Gmail application, so he will be given a thread. So like that, so every user will have its own thread, like it's a multi-threaded application. So basically the performance, because of that multi-threaded, like the performance of the application will be very fast. So it can do multiple transactions at the same time without, let's say when you try to log in with your username and password, you will not see the mails of some other person. Okay, so when that person logs in, he will not see the mails of ours. So they will see only the mails of that specific user itself. So that is called like multi-threaded, like doing multiple tasks at the same time without interfering between them, between each other. Okay, and it's a strongly typed language, and also it's portable in the sense, let's say you write a code, like let's say we created one program, and you can execute that program on any types of operating system. Okay, let's say you create a program on Windows, okay, and that same code, like you can also execute it on other applications or like other operating systems also, like Linux or like Mac or iOS or any of the operating systems. So you don't need to write the code again on different types of operating systems. You can write just one code and execute that code on any type of operating systems. That is what is portability is. So that can be achieved with the help of Java. Okay, so these are some of the features that we have with the Java. Okay, there are many other things, but these are basically some of the main features of Java. Okay, and there are two components in Java, like one is compiler and the other one is the Java virtual machine. So basically what we do is we will write code as a plain text. Okay, so yesterday like we created one class file, like we created a .java file. So basically what we do is in the .java we will write some code in there, like it's a plain English like text. Okay, so like public class something, then method something. So we'll write that code in the simple plain language. Okay, but that is not understood by your system, because system needs a specific language called bytecode, because the system only understands a bytecode. But if you write the language, like the code in English, plain English format, then our systems or the machine may not understand what it is. Okay, so what this compiler will do is, the first component is compiler, which what it will do is it will take that code, whatever the code that we have written, and it compiles that into a bytecode format. Okay, and that bytecode format is understandable by the system, okay, or the machine. see the compiler which converts our source code from plain language or plain code to a dot class. Okay, so we will write the first code in a dot Java, and when you compile it, the compiler will create a dot class file, and this dot class will have bytecodes. Okay, and which is machine language of JVM. So Java, like which is that code, the bytecode is understood by the Java virtual machine. Okay, so what this Java virtual machine will do is it will take that code and it will again process it and sends it to the actual application or actual machine, and that will run the code. Okay, see for example, if you see here, see my program.java. So first what we'll do, we'll write the code in the .java file. Okay, and then the compiler will take the jar, whatever the code that we have written in the .java, and converts into a .class file. See my program.class. So it will convert into a .class file, and then that .class file, with the help of the Java virtual machine, like it will take the .class file and sends it to the system, which will display the actual application. Okay, so these are the different components that we have in the Java, the compiler and the Java virtual machine. Okay, so every system, when you install the Java, it will have this JVM and the compiler in there. So that's why we need to install Java before even using the Eclipse. Okay, this is what it will do. Okay, so first let me go back to the our Eclipse. Okay, so first of all, whenever you want to write some code, like we need to create a project in there. So which we already saw last time, like how to create a project. See, file, new project, file, new Java project. Okay, so that means like we are creating a Java project over here. So just give that name of the project and then just say, give it as some name to that project, SEP 2016 Java code, something like whatever the name that you want to provide to the project, like we need to give that project. So it will create that folder here. So just say that and click finish. See, it created that September 2016 Java code folder for us. And again, like I said, like by default, it will have some jar files, because like I already explained why we need jar files. So Java, like to understand the code, like it needs all these jar files. So these jar files have some code in it, which will be used by the Java or this Eclipse tool to understand the code. Okay, and again, so it is going to create a source folder here. So in this folder, like we can have all our whatever the code that we want to write. So in this source folder, so what I'll do is I'll create one package. So basically what this package is, it's kind of like a folder where you will store all your files. So let's just click on this package. We can directly use this SRC is also a folder, like we can directly create it there, or we can create our own package and store the code in there, or so like this. So just give some name to it. Let's say com dot, let's say test dot. Like this is generally like the format that we need to provide is something like this. We can directly give a name also, like test folder or test package or something like that. But in real-time scenarios, generally we give something like this, like com dot some project name, then all the details to it. Okay, so com dot test dot package 1. Okay, see if I do a package, if I say com.test.package, see I'm getting an error here, invalid package name. Package is not a valid Java identifier. See, this package means that is a keyword, so which is Java keyword. So we should not be using those keywords. Okay, instead if I say, see, package 1 or package test, see, so now the error is gone. So we should not use some of the keywords. So when we type it, by default that Eclipse IDE will show in case if it is correct or wrong. Okay, so click finish. See, it created a package for me. It's kind of a folder where you will store all your files. So again, in these files, like I said, like we need to store the code in a .java file. So if you see here, see myprogram.java. So all the code that we want to write, we need to write it in a .java file. So to do that, see, I'll right click on this package and say new class. Click on this and give some name to it. Let's say hello world. Okay, so just the name of the like that file. So I'm giving it as hello world. And if you see here, like which methods that you want to create, see by default, like what it is saying is, do you want to create any methods? So I'll explain you what methods are. But first, what we need to do is we need to select this public static void main. So this is the main method. So I'll explain what that main method is and click on finish. So you need to give the name of the class and you need to select this public static void main method. Click finish. See, it's gonna create some code for us. And if you see the file name here, see it says hello world.java. So whenever you create a class and give some name, so with that class name, it creates the .java file. And the name of the class should be same as whatever the file name that you provide. Okay, see here I gave hello world.java. In case if I change the class name to hello world 123, see it's giving you an error. Okay, so for sure, like whatever the name of the file is, you need to create a class with that name itself. See, otherwise it's gonna throw an error. So IDE is very good, like this Eclipse IDE, it's very good. Whenever you do some mistakes, like it is going to give you an error at that time itself. You don't need to even execute the code. So without executing the code itself, like once you do something wrong, it just pops up what is the error that we have done. Okay, so this is the hello world.java and it created a class. So it says see public class. Basically what this class means is a place, it's kind of a blueprint that you can write in the Java. Okay, see it's kind of a template, it's kind of a blueprint from which we can create an object. Okay, so basically what it does is, like in a class we can write some code, and in that code, like you can do whatever that you want to perform. So that's what a class is. Okay, and for example, like say if you take here, see this is a class that it created, and generally how it works is, see public, okay, class, then name of that class, let's say hello world 1. I'm just trying to show you what it is. Open a bracket and then close a bracket. So this is what the definition of a class is. Okay, so public class, name of the class, and then open bracket and the close bracket. So in this class we can write whatever the code that we want to. Okay, so we will have some methods like call functions, methods, or whatever that we want to perform, we can write the code here. So even if you take the last class, one of the file, see I'm trying to open that, let's say this etrainingitdemo.com. See if you see here, it created a class here, and even that one, when we converted from there to here, we created a class. See etrainingitdemo.java and etrainingitdemo. Like whatever the class name is. Okay, so we need to create a class like this, and it will have a open brackets and a end bracket. See, open bracket and a end bracket. Okay, and in this class, like we can write whatever the code that we want to. Okay, and like you can have methods, like you can write functions, you can write some whatever the code that we want to, we can write it in this class. Okay, not only that code, like we also can create some objects which we'll see in the next. And if you see here, like you have something called as public static void main. So this is a main method. So class, like you can have all your definitions, like whatever the code that we want to write, we'll write it in the class. And if you want to execute that class, we need to have this void method or main method, sorry. We need to have the main method. Okay, so by default, if you don't have this, like the code will not be executed. See, I'll write hello world, and let's say I'll write something called as system dot, okay, see system dot out. Why is it not coming? Okay. Actually, system dot, like we cannot use that in the class directly. We need to use it in the method itself. Okay, so let me do something. Okay, so I'll show you what that is. So every like class, in case if you want to execute the class, like we need to have a like main method. So when we execute it, first what the control will do is it will control will directly come into the main method. And in this main method, you can write whatever the code that we want to. Let's say, for example, if you want to print something, like if you want to display something, see system dot out dot println. Okay, and in the codes I'll give what I want to do. Let's say hello world, and let's say welcome to Java. Okay, and if I see this is what the method that we need to use if you want to print something. System dot out dot println. So what this will do is it will just display when you execute this code, whatever that you give here, it will display on the console. Okay, see there is something called as console here. So it will display the code, that string on the console. Okay, and if you see here, see there is an error. Okay, and it says syntax error, insert like semicolon to complete the block of statement. Okay, so what it says is, see we haven't ended. So in Java we have to end that line of code with a semicolon like this. Okay, and see now the code is done. Okay, so all what we are doing is we created a class called hello world, and in that class we created a main method. So when you execute the code, what it does is whatever the code that you have in the main method, it will execute that code here. So it will execute this system.out.println. Okay, see if I want to run this, it's a plain Java code. Right click, say run as, see Java application. Okay, so it's a plain Java application, like whatever that we have written, it's a plain Java code. So to run that, all you need to do is right click, go to run as and select this Java application. See what it will do is, okay, it displayed that value here. Hello world, welcome to Java. Okay, so this is what the console is. So with the help of system.out.println, we can write the or display whatever that we want to in the console. Okay, so basically this is what a class is. So in class we can write whatever the methods that we want to, and by default like the control will go into the main method. So whatever the code that is there in the main method, it will execute that. In case not only main method, we can have other methods also. See, I'll write one more. I'll explain you how to write the methods. See, public static, let's say void print test. Okay, open and close the brackets. So this is one method that I'm writing. I'll tell you what that method is. Okay, so samply I'm writing a method, and let's say I'll write something here. System dot out dot print line. Okay, let's say inside print test method. Okay, so what I'm doing is same thing. I'm writing a print line and I'm saying that inside print test method. So what it needs to do when we are executing it, it needs to display hello world, welcome to Java, and also it needs to display inside print test method because it's a print line we are doing, system.out.println. So in this console we need to have two values. See, let me run it, right click, run as Java application. Okay, so it's asking you to save because we made some changes, so we didn't save it, so it's asking you to save. Say okay. See, it only displayed hello world, welcome to Java. Okay, so it didn't display anything for the print test because by default like you can have many methods in your class, but it will only execute whatever that is there in the main method. Okay, it doesn't go into other methods, it will only go into the main method. So if you want to execute something in a class, we need to create a main method. So without main method we cannot do anything. Okay, and in main method you can call whatever that we want to. Okay, so we'll see how to call this method, like whatever that we just created, like we can also call this method in our main method, which we'll see. Okay, and so basically the class is a template where you can write all your methods, and then we have something called as objects. So like in the class you can create whatever that you want to, like all your methods, but to execute that class we need to create a object. So to execute whatever the code that is there in the class, we need to create an object. Basically it's an instance of that class. Okay, it's an instance of the class, and every object, like they have some states and behavior. In the sense, like you can call them, like you can create some methods and you can call those methods also. That's what states and behaviors are. For example, if you take humans, it's a class. Okay, so humans is a class. Okay, like human beings, like it's a class, and in that human beings, like men is one object, woman is one object. Okay, and like one object which is men has different states in the sense, like men has different height, different weight, and like that. And behaviors, like every, like I said, every object will have some behaviors. So though what behaviors are is eating, like walking, running, like sleeping. So every person height is different, weight is different, like what they do is different, like how they walk, how they run, how they sleep, like their sleeping behaviors, eating behaviors, those are all behaviors. Okay, so you can, like, this is what the class and the objects are. So what we generally do is in the class we will define all our methods and all whatever that we want to, and with the help of the objects we can create, like we can give life to those class. Okay, it's an instance of that class. Okay, so see, let's see the first program that we just created. So by default, whenever we create a class, if you want to execute that class, we will create a main method. Okay, and in that main method you can do whatever that you want to. Okay, and let's say, see, we created one more method here. Okay, and okay, let me explain you about those methods, what those methods are. Okay, so see some of the concepts about class, like class can or cannot have a main method. Okay, in case if you want to execute, we need to have the main method, and to execute a class, main method is required in it, which we just saw. And main method is kind of a entry point for the Java application. So if you have a main method, then only you can execute that code. In case if you don't create a main method, like it does not execute it, so which we just saw. Okay, in the same way, let's say if you want to create some other class, see, like in this package I'll create a class called, let's say, addition. Okay, and I'm not selecting this main method, so that means it will not create a main method in there. So click on finish. Okay, see, public class addition, and we don't have a main method now because we are not creating anything there. Okay, so let me create one more method here. So basically what these methods are is any code, if you think you are execute, like you need to use multiple times, like we'll create a method for it. So you can also call it as a method, or you can also call it as a function. Okay, so any code that you want to execute multiple times, then you need to call, like you need to create a function or a method for that. Okay, and how to do that is this. See, public we don't need to do. See, void, let's say fn addition. Okay, open and close brackets like this. Okay, so this is how we create a method. So void, okay, I'll explain you what this void is, like a return value. See, fn addition 1, sorry, fn addition of these, like open the bracket and close the bracket, and in this method you can call whatever that you want to. Okay, see, let's say first value equal to 10. Okay, see, it's giving me a error because see, this is a variable. Basically what a variable is a place where you can store some value. Okay, so first value is a variable which is storing a value number 10. Okay, so in Java, whenever we create a variable, you have to declare what type of variable it is. Okay, whether it is a integer or a string or what it is, we have to define. So 10 is a number which is meant by integer. Okay, so to then what we need to do is, see, we need to give something like int first value equal to 10. So that means we are saying that this is a variable called first value and it is a type of int. Int means a integer. So that means you can only store an integer value in this variable. Okay, in case if I give it something else, like let's say 10.5, see, it's giving me a error because 10.5 is a decimal, whereas what we have defined here is a integer. So that's why, see, it's giving me a error here. Okay, so there are different types of variables that you can create, like which I'll explain you what they are. But for now, int means where you can store an integer value. If you store some other value, then it will throw an error like this. Okay, see, type mismatch, cannot convert from double to integer. Okay, so this 10.5 is a double value, so decimal value, and it says it cannot convert the decimal value into a integer value. Okay, so when you define it as an integer, you can only store a integer value like this. Okay, in the same way, see, int second value equal to 20. Okay, and int added value equal to first value plus second value. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to add those two values, first value plus second value. Okay, and I'm storing it into added value. Okay, so to display this value, see, system dot out dot println, okay, in the quotes, let's say added, or let's say if I can give directly this added value like this. Okay, so save it. So public class addition void, I didn't explain about void, I'll explain it, but name of the function, open the bracket, close the bracket, and then open the curly brackets and write whatever the code that you want to. Okay, and close the curl bracket. So if I am executing this, what it needs to do, it needs to add value 10, 20, and it needs to display 30 because we are displaying that value. See, if I execute it, right click, run as, see, now it's not showing me Java application. Okay, because as there is no main method, so it doesn't treat it like it is executing it. It cannot execute anything. Okay, so you need to have the main method, then only you can execute that whatever the code that you have in your class. Okay, instead what we can do is, see, let me save this, come here. So we created a class. So to work with that, like in case if you want to execute whatever the code that is there in the class, what we need to do is we need to create an object. So we need to create an object of this class, and when you create an object of that class, with the help of that object you can execute whatever that is there in the class. Okay, so that's what the object instantiation is. Okay, so to, like, we'll create a class, but you need to create an object of it, then only we'll be able to execute the code that is present. So we have to create an instance of a class, like we have to create the instance of that class. So how to do that is, see, so either you can have a public like main method here, or see, I can create a main method. So let me copy that main method from here. Okay, instead of typing, I'm just trying to copy it from there. See. Okay, public static void main, then this is the syntax for it, like I'll explain what it is. And then here, see, we need to create the object of that class, like we have to instantiate the object of that class. And how to do that is, see, fn addition, like the name of the class, okay, space, then some variable, let's say add obj equal to new fn addition of, like this. Okay, see, it gives me an error. Fn addition equal to, oh sorry, instead of class name we are giving the name of the method. Okay, see, fn addition is a method name, not the class. See, addition and new addition of. See, now it's, the error is gone. So instead of addition, like I'm giving fn addition, which is a method. Okay, see, add object, and using, so we are, this is the object that we created. So class name, object name equal to new class name, whatever the class that you created. And using this, see, add object, and if you put a dot, see, fn addition, the name of that method will come like this. Okay, see, fn addition, which is this one. So all we do in the main method, like you can create the instance of an object class, and using that instance you can call all the methods that you have in that class, like this. See, now if I save it and execute it, right click, see, run as, see, now I can see Java application. So if you have a main method, then only the Java will treat it as a Java application. If you don't have the main method, it's just like a plain code. So you cannot execute that plain code. Okay, so you need to have the main method, which is the entry point for the Java. See, click OK, and see, it added both the values and it displays 30 over here. Okay, so that's what the object is. So you can write the code in the class and you can create an object, and using that object you can access all the methods, and I can call this method any number of times. See, if I want to do this, see, 3 times I can call it. See, right click, run as Java application. See, it executed the code 3 times. So that is what the method is. If you think that some code you want to use some code multiple times, then we'll create a method. You can either call it as a method or you can also call it as a function. Okay, so, and in case, see, I'm just trying to display value 30. Instead, let's say you want to add some string to it, like some text to it. See, added value is, and I want to display added value. See, if I say added value is, see, it's giving me a error. So it says syntax error on this. Okay, because this is a different string. String is nothing but a group of characters. Like how you have an integer, you also have something called as a string. So what that string is, a group of characters. Group of characters in the sense is something like this. String, okay, my name equal to something, selenium, like this. Okay, so string should be S uppercase. See, something like this. String my name equal to selenium. If you want to store a value like a number, we need to create an integer. And if you want to store some group of characters, we need to create a string with, and you can then only, so you can store the value in it. Okay, so string my name equal to selenium. So if you are giving a string value, then you need to put it in the quotes. So you have given it in the double quotes. If it is a number, we can directly give a number there. Okay, so now what we are doing, see, this is one string which is in the codes, and this is a different value. So we are trying to add two different strings. So we cannot do that directly like this. Instead, what we need to do is we need to put a plus here. That means you are concatenating two strings. Like there are two different strings and you are adding it. That you need to do with the help of this plus button. Okay, or plus symbol. See, let's save it, and if you run it, so instead of just 30, it will display, see, added value is 30, added value is 30, like that. Okay, if you want to concatenate two strings, like you need to use a plus symbol. Okay, so like this you can create a method and you can create a object. And with this, see what's happening, the value, like yeah, the value is displayed here. So the same value, let's say if I want to display here also, like system dot out dot println. Okay, so here let's say outside the method value is, see, plus added value. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to display it inside. So instead of added value, or so I'll say inside method. Okay, added value is this. Outside method, added value is this. Okay, and if you see here, see there is an error. Okay, see, added value cannot be resolved to a variable. What it says is, I don't know what this added value is. Okay, why it is doing that, or why it is giving that error? Because see, we created this added value inside a method called fn addition, and the value of that method will be only in that method itself. Okay, in the sense, like whatever the value that you are using, you can only use inside that function itself or inside that method itself. Once you come out of the method, you will not have the value, or you cannot use that variable. Okay, so in order, if you want to use that value outside that method also, what we need to do is we need to return the value. Okay, so how to return that value is, see, here you are saying void. That means we are saying that that function will not return any value. Okay, but in case if you want to return a value, like how to do that is, see, okay, I'll write one more function here. Okay, so this is the return type. So what you want to return from that function, we, or the method, we need to provide, see, int, let's say fn addition, or add two values. Okay, so the name of the method I'm giving it is, see, this method must return a result of type int. So we have, as we gave int here, so it says you need to return some value. Okay, and how to return that value is, see, int, let's say a equal to 10, int b equal to 20. Okay, and I'll say return, or maybe int c equal to a plus b, and I have to say return c, like this. Okay, so that means we are like we want to return the value of this c, or whatever that is there in that c. Okay, and when you are calling it, so this is what the int is. So it is a return type from that method. So when you are returning it, when you want to return some value, and if you are returning that value, what we need to do is, see, again, this is the object that we created, add obj dot fn add two values. Okay, and this is returning a value, so that we have to store into some variable. Let's say int c equal to this, or whatever the variable that you want to, and we need to display that value here. Yeah, see. Okay, so in case if your method is returning something, then we need to catch that value. Okay, because see here we are not doing anything because we are not returning any value from that function or that method. We said void. Void means nothing is coming out of that method. Okay, so you don't need to catch it, like you can just call it like this directly. So what it will do, whatever the code that is there in that method, it will execute that code. Okay, in case if you are returning a value and if you want to catch that value, we need to store that into a variable. So int c equal to add obj dot fn add to values, whatever the method name. Then it will come into this variable and we are displaying that variable value here. And that variable, like you can give whatever the name that you want to. Okay, see now if I run this, so it's asking you to save. See, inside method added value is 30. So this is from this method. Okay, and then system.out.println outside method the value of C is also 30 like this. See, so that means that variable that you created, you are able to use it inside the method as well as you are able to use it outside the method also. Okay, so that's how you can create a method and you can call it, like you can return a value from the method like this. Okay, so int fn add two values and then whatever the values that you want to display or return it. So like this you can create whatever the methods that you want to. Okay, so whatever the code that you think you will be using multiple times, you will be executing multiple times, then we need to create a method for it like this. Okay, and now see, let's say you are returning only one value. Okay, in case let's say if you want to do return multiple values, in the sense, see, int d equal to a into b. Okay, and I want to return the d value also. See, return d. Okay, see, it is giving me a error because it says, see, unreachable code. Okay, why it is giving you unreachable code is, see, once you say return, what the control will do is it will come out of this function, and after that code, after that return, even if you write something, it does not execute. See, it says unreachable code. So once you do a return, it will come out of that function and it will come back here. So what it will do, first when you execute, it will come here, it will execute this line of code. Okay, then it will execute second line, then you are calling the third line, so it will come into the function, you will execute all these lines of code. When it executes this, the control from here comes back to this line of code. Okay, so it will execute and it will come back outside. And so whatever the code that is there after return, so once it says return, it comes out of that function or the method. So once it comes out, it cannot execute whatever that is there after this return. So that's why it's giving you unreachable code. So whenever we do a return, like the control will come out. So we cannot do multiple returns like this. Instead, what we need to do is we need to define some parameters. And also what's happening here, like even if you execute this code like 100 times, if you call that method 100 times, it does the same thing. Okay, print adding 10, 20 and displaying 30. Okay, but let's say if you want to work with a different data or different set of code, see, for example, int fn add two values 1. Okay, some different function or the method. Okay, in this method what I'll do is I'll create some parameters in the sense, when you are calling that function, you can pass the values. See, int, let's say first value. Okay, first value, comma, int second value, or just let's give value 2, and this is value 1. Okay, and we are returning a value, and if you see here there is some error, so it says there is no return value. This method must return a result of type int, because as we gave int, That means we are trying to return an integer value, so it says error. So you have written the function, but you are not returning anything. So until you write return, it gives you the error like that. So what we can do is, see, return value 1 plus value 2 and semicolon. See, what we are trying to do is we are trying to add value 1 and with value 2, and we are returning that value. Either we can write it like this, or we can also say int value 3 equal to value 1 plus value 2. Okay, then we can return this value 3. Okay, value 3. So we can do like this also. Okay, either we can do this 2 lines and create some variable, but here what we are doing, we are creating one more variable. Instead, we can also directly say return value 1 plus value 2. So it directly adds them and it returns the value. Okay, so with this, what's happening, we are not hard coding a value. Okay, so previously we were hard coding the value, but here we are not hard coding the value. Instead, what we are doing, we are trying to pass the values when we are calling the function or the method. Okay, so when you are calling that method, we'll do something like this. So this add object dot see fn add two values like 1, the method that we see, this is the method fn add two values 1, and for this we are passing value 1 and value 2. See, that's why it is displaying value 1 comma value 2. So we need to pass an integer 30 comma 30 like this and semicolon, and this one is returning a value. So let's store that into some variable int, let's say some variable d equal to this, and again system dot out dot println of, let's say value of d is plus d, like this. Okay, and if you create a variable as lowercase d, then here also it should be lowercase. If you give uppercase, see, it will throw an error. Okay, it says d cannot be resolved to a variable. So it's a case sensitive. Whatever the name of the variable that you create, you need to give that same name here. Okay, otherwise it will treat it as a different variable. See, d. Okay, save it. So now what we are doing, we are passing the values to the method. So these are called as input parameters. So whatever the input parameters that you create to a method, you need to pass them when you are calling that method. Okay, this is how we can do it. See, right click, run from step, or sorry, run as Java application. Okay, see, inside method 30, outside method 30, and value of d is 60. Because we are passing 30 comma 30. So in the same way, for the same code, see, I'll just copy this line, 2 lines of code, paste it here, and let's say some other variable e, instead of 30, see, I'm giving it as 40 and 50. Okay, and here e. Okay, and if I am executing it, see, everything is getting executed, whatever that is there. Like first it is executing the fn addition, then it is executing fn addition 2, then it is executing fn addition 2 values 1, and also all the other one. Okay, see, right click, run as Java application. See, now it is executing all the 4 of them. So first one, second one, then 30 comma 30 60, and then like you have 40 comma 70 or 40 comma 50, which is 90, like that. So it's trying to add it. So with the help of the input parameters, the code is same, but the data that you are passing is different, and the code is behaving differently based on what data that you are passing it. Okay, so that's what the input parameters is. And in the same way, let's say if you want to return multiple values, so we saw how to return a value. If it is returned, we are able to return one value from that method to outside the method. And in case if you have multiple values that you want to return, so we cannot use the return method or return here. Instead, what we need to do is we need to use output parameters. Okay, so how to do that is, see, int, let's say fn addition output. Okay, open and close brackets. Okay, see, it's giving you the name, and see the error, it says the method must return a value because type int, because we gave int here. So until you write the logic return, so it gives you an error like that. Okay, so now I don't want to return anything, so I'll say void. So if you want to return a value, you need to give which type of variable or which type of value that you want to return. And if you don't want to return anything, we can just say void. Okay, so fn addition output, and here I'll say, see, int value 1 comma int value 2 comma int added value comma int mul value, multiplied value. Okay, so first two are the input parameters and these two are the output parameters. Okay, and see how I'll do that. So let's say this added value equal to, and again it's a int added value equal to value 1 plus value 2, whatever we are getting it from there. Okay, and again it says some error, duplicate value. Okay, so added value 1 equal to this, then int mul value 1 equal to value 1 into value 2. See, the variable name should be same. Okay, and then if you want to return it, see, added value equal to, sorry, added value equal to this, like this. Okay, and mul value equal to mul value 1, then save it. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are returning it using the output parameters like this. Okay, so now let's try to execute this. Okay, first of all we need to call that function or the method. See, it's not returning anything, so I can say fn addition output of C. It sees some error. Let's see what it is. 10 comma int ad comma int bd or mb, multiplied value this. Okay, so before calling it, I'll say int ad added value int mb, multiplied value. Okay, and I'll remove those ad mb here like this. Still it's giving error. Okay, so instead we have to say static. it's giving some error. So okay, it's asking us to initialize. Let me do int equal to 0 equal to 0. Okay, so basically what it is doing is whenever we are passing it, like we have to define what type of value it is going to hold, right? So as it is an integer value, okay, so I'm creating int here, int added value equal to 0 and int multiplied value equal to that. So then let me call, sorry, system dot out dot println. Okay, so added value is plus added value. Okay, then in the same way system dot out dot println, then mul multiplied value is this mul value, mul value, like this, and save it. Okay, so now first we are initializing it to 0 and 0 and we are passing it, but inside we are adding it and again returning those values, so it will get those values. Now see, right click, run as Java application, and it executed it, and see, oh, it says 60 90 and here 0 and 0. Let's see why zeros, why is it not returning it? Instead if I say int, actually we converted it to, instead of using a different value, we are trying to use the same thing, C and D. What did we give in the method? Added value, multiplied value. Okay, let me run it and see. Now we got 30 and 60. What are we adding there? 10, 20. Not those variables. We need to use these only because it's taking it from there. So added value. That's what we are doing it. somehow it's not returning the value, but what it needs to do is like it needs to add whatever the value that you are adding in the method. See, added value, it needs to return it to this added value, but somehow it's not doing it. Okay, but generally like this is how you can do it. So we can pass input parameters and also we can pass output parameters. Like I'll check what that issue is with that. So it's the same, like whatever the variable that you are giving, it needs to return it, but somehow it's not returning. I'll look into it what that issue is. Okay, but this is how like you can create the variables, okay, or methods, and you can call those methods from your class. Like you can create a class, you can create all your methods in there, and from the main method you can create the object of that class, and you can start using the methods that are present in that class. Okay, so that's how you create a class and the objects and different methods that you want to perform. So whatever the code that you think you will be using multiple times, we'll create a method and we'll use it here. Okay, so this is how you can create it. Any questions? Is it clear? So we covered like classes, objects, and the methods, like how to write those methods. Any questions? Oh. Okay, so let me unmute. Yeah.
Actually, when you created the method, it was static. Like usually, when we call the method, we use the object like object dot method name, right? But there you directly call the method.
That's why it's static. I'll explain you about the static in the next class, like what static is and why do you use, as well as what public is. Like I'll explain you about those in the next class.
We not use class name dot static method name. Can we directly call the method?
No, 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 you cannot call the method. See, if I do directly method, let's say fn, see, it gives you an error. Okay, so we have to create a class, and then in that class itself, like you need to call those like you need to create an object of the class, and you need to call those methods.
Okay.
Not only this, like in the next class, I'll show you how you can call from one, like you can create all your methods in one class, and you can call those methods in some other class also. So from, let's say,
Yeah. Okay.
class also you can create it and you can call it from here. So which we'll see in the next class about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?